The Rinocerante is a Tier 10 Italian auto-reloading heavy. And it's a vehicle that, when it was first released into the game, everybody loved, including myself. However, now that this vehicle has been released for some time now, I can tell you that it's overcooked, as in overpowered. This vehicle has too much turret armor, it has an insane amount of DPM for a heavy, and its mobility is very, very good. It takes the downsides of a Kron, sacrifices one shell, and gains every other advantage. See, on websites like Blitzkit or Armor Inspector, they say when using full gun depression, the turret is around 360 to 70 millimeters thick. However, that's incorrect, because Flossie and I were double tuning Badgers, which is another video you'll see later this week. And when we were double tuning Badgers, I was running calibrated shells, which gives me 418 mils of heat pen. I could not penetrate the Rhino's turret. Even if it's running enhanced armor, it should not have enough. It'd be like 370. Whatever the armor values are on this turret, they're way too strong. Personally, I think that higher heat pen should be able to cut through the Rhino. And yeah, it's kind of an insane tank because of that. And it's why I think everybody kind of loved this vehicle when it was released into the game. Because originally, you know, we all thought, oh, the Rhino is a balanced tank, right? But the more that I've been able to play this tank, and the more that I've been able to really get a hold of why it does so well, it just makes sense that it's an overpowered autoloader. That's as simple as it is. And the games that you're going to watch today are going to further solidify that point. Flossie and I decided to do double Rhino. And originally, I didn't know how this was going to go. I mean, I knew it was going to do well. I just wasn't sure if it was going to do better than, you know, double Yo or double Kron. But I think by the time you're done watching today's video, you will have your own opinions, which you can base off of this. So we got 3 replays here. The first one, this was one of the most cringe battles I've played in a very long time. This game puts us on, Factory. Ghost Factory. So we got the 2 and 5B, we got the Sheridan, we got the E6, we got the Rinocerante pushing up. Already the enemy team is just super aggressive over here. And our team is not very lined up here. I mean, I shoot a perfect shell at the E6 hatch, bounces. Gotta love that Wargaming just buffed the hatch on that vehicle. But at this point in time, I realized that, yeah, probably holding the aggressive flank here is not a good play. So Flossie and I both agree, yeah, let's get the hell out of here. And we're leaving as quick as we can. So that's step number 1, get out, right? Got the STB over here, and I'm going to activate my speed boost so I can climb up this hill as fast as possible. Okay. Well, our Balshation's flanking. I was hoping I could maybe get a shell into the Leopard, but then we have the Ryan, or the Type over here, which I aim in a gold shell at. I just tried to shoot the Leopard. I don't know. I kind of panicked there and didn't have an opportunity to reliably pen either of those tanks. So instead, I don't really know what to do here. And that's what I told Flossie, and he agreed. He was like, what are we supposed to do here? I shoot at the Leopard. Unfortunately, the shell misses. But, like, this is awful. This is absolutely tragic. Right now, you're probably thinking to yourself, why are you showing me this game, Droodles? This game sucks. Well, I'm going to aim it on the 2 and 5B. I managed to track him, and I get a second shell into the 2 and 5B, tracking him again. That alone is around 800 damage off of his vehicle, and even though I bleed some health in return, just tracking that 2 and 5B and stopping him in the open bled him a lot of health. Enough that he's a potential 2-shot for me if he ever tries to rush around the corner. And I already have my second shell, right? Flossie's in a bit of a sus situation as well because he's fighting the Rhino. He does bleed a lot of health. I'm not sure that was worth there, and especially because this enemy type's going to just roll right around the corner and kill Flossie. I tried my best, but I just obviously wasn't able to block that shell for him. So at this point, it's not looking great. I'm at 2,200 damage. The Rhino's at least dead. That's really important. But I still have a Type 71 and a 2 and 5 beyond me here. So the Type gets shot. That's really important. Not only does the Type shoot, but he's on reloads. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to over-poke, and I'm going to aim it on this 2 and 5B. I get a nice tracking shell into his player, and we're going to aim it again, and there you go. 2 shots into the enemy 2 and 5B. That player's taken out. I'm now over 3,000 damage. The Type pens me. I'm now not very healthy. The 907, full speed on the move. Oh, misses me. Okay, but of course my shell low rolls. Gotta love Droodle's RNG. And, oh no, now I get shot in the side by the Leopard. This is still tragic, right? I've done 3,500 damage, but what am I supposed to do here? I've got a Leopard on my side. I've got a 907 on my front. I got a Type 71 on me. This is tragic. So what I'm worried about right now is that 907 poking me here and deciding to shoot me. That's what I was most worried about because, you know, a decent player, if that 907 was a decent player, would have just poked me there and gotten me taken out. But turns out that the 907 is not the best of players and actually flanks wide. And because of that, it puts me in a position where I'm a little worried about the 907, but at this point, I'm pretty sure that he's not going to poke me. So I just decide, screw it, I'm going to push the Sheridan. There you go. 907 gets detected. All right, so let's get the Sheridan, right? He's got 800 health. We're going to overpoke. There you go. 444 into his tank, and boom, 368. That puts me up to 4,290 damage. Now that leaves us with only one tank left, being the 907, who gets taken out. This game was absolutely hectic, right? We got pushed. We got absolutely cornered into a position which is awful, even for a tank like the Rhino. But because of my double shotgun, I was still able to take what was a terrible game, deal 4,000 damage, and turn it into a pretty solid victory. Honestly, if Flossie didn't trade with that Rhino, I think it might have gone a little bit better, and he might have lived, but obviously, in retrospect and hindsight, everything is 2020. Point being, that was a crazy game, and it's one that I really expected to lose, but because of this tank's double shot mechanic, we were still able to get out a pretty good game. This battle, we have 2 Origin players up against us. These are 70% players, and they're in an E6 and a Kron, right? That's a really strong tune. But once again, double auto reloader. I say it all the time, but auto reloaders are the strongest class of vehicles in the game. And the reason why is just because they're nearly impossible to push. So I told Flossie, I said they've only 1 light tank. And because of that, I want to push wide and see if I can cut through the dip. But what ended up happening is actually the entire enemy team went wide. So I said I'm going to tunnel the 183 because I hate 183s. So I shoot the 183. Flossie shoots the 183. I've already dealt 800 damage. I'm really glad that I told Flossie we should push through mid because spotting up those players crossing was an absolutely massive play and gave us just a huge advantage, right? I don't think I was the reason the 183 got spotted. I'm pretty sure that was the E50, but now I'm in a really awkward spot because I know the 183 was in the back there, and to all I know, that 183 is still sitting back there. Flossie's like, oh, back up to me, but I'm like, I really can't back up to you because that 60 is going to spot me, and that 183 could potentially nuke me. I don't really want that to happen, so I'm not going to do that, right? So Flossie gets the clearance of the Conway. Nice. Up to 1,200 damage now. I haven't bled any health. And at this point, I said, yeah, screw it. I'm just going to move up. I really can't put myself in a position where that 183 hits me. And, oh, there it is, of course. Sheridan, once again, high rolls, 630. God, I hate Sheridans, bro. Every single game you play, it's going to be a Sheridan that annoys you. So Flossie says, you know what? I'm just going to push the Sheridan. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Screw this guy. Let's take him out of the game. If he wants to put himself in a bad spot, we'll punish him for it. So I get a shell into the Sheridan. Flossie gets a shell into the Sheridan. Now that player's half health. And Flossie said, I'm just going to push him now. So I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm going to chill here. And Sheridan's looking at me. I don't want to be shot. I don't want to lose 1,200 health to a light tank. It's definitely not what I want to have happen. But now that the Sheridan's looking at Flossie, I get a nice shot to Rooney into his tank. I'm up to 2,000 damage, and I get the clear. Perfect. Sheridan's gone. Good job on Flossie there. That was actually a really, really important play because that was by far the most dangerous player on the enemy team. But I mean, at this point, the game's over. Look at this. They only have 3 tanks left, one of which is a 183, who's not very healthy. And apart from that, the game's over, right? So, at this point, I'm just going to push the E6, and let's aim it on his lower plate, and boom. I wasn't spotted until the E6 overpoked there a little bit, so I get a nice shell into his vehicle. We're going to reload again, and there you go. Another nice shot into the E6. That puts me up to 3,100 damage now. Flossie's going to roll off to the side here, and he gets a nice shell into the E6. I get the clearing shot. And that leaves us with only one vehicle left, the FE2 and 5B 183. So I'm going to push the FE2 and 5B 183. And boom, nice 405 shell, puts me up to 3,700. And yet again, another super easy game. I mean, every game you play in the Rhino is like this. It's not like these are random battles. These are just back-to-back games. Oh, and my game crashed. Well, gotta love that. My mods do cause some compatibility issues with Blitz. I will say that, right? They're not perfect. For some reason, every now and then when I watch a replay, my game crashes. And I'm not sure what the reason is. When I actually play the game, it never crashes. But when I watch a replay, for some reason, one of the mods has a problem or something, and the game ends up just dying on me. But it's alright. We're back in Blitz already, so no problem there. And, let's take a look at this final Rhinoceronte game now, which puts us on Mayan Ruins. Mayan Ruins is a decent map in general. You know, it's a good map if you're going to drive a hull-down tank, especially because the Rhino has 7 degrees of gun depression and good turret armor. However, unfortunately, our team does not go the way we want them to, right? Our team ends up going town, as you're going to see here. And not only that, but I get shot in the side because a T100 LT pushed to mid. So I bleed 330 health, and I'm spotted for 20 seconds. That's all really, really annoying, because I just hate that stupid tracer shell mechanic, because now I gotta wait and wait and wait and wait. At this point, I think it's been about 20 seconds, so I should be fine to push up. That's exactly what I'm going to do. The Rhinoceronte pokes, I get a nice 386 damage shell into his vehicle, and he backs up. Okay, not bad. But you know what happens? Our Hori decides, I'm gonna push this. I'm like, hell yeah, bro. If you want to push this, I will fully support you, right? All it takes is one other teammate to help you, and you're able to get some massive bleeds. So the Hori shoots the Rhino. I'm going to shoot the Rhino. Rhino shoots its second shell, so he's out of shots now. I shoot the Rhino again. I was really hoping I could track him, and the E3, unfortunately, just snaps his shell and doesn't end up penning. But hey, I'm already up to 1,200 damage, and in return, I've bled about 800 health, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all, right? I've dealt more than I've received, and if we can keep that up for the rest of the game, it'll be a pretty good result. So I got the T100, of course. Shell goes high. Gotta love my accuracy. But I'm thinking to myself, I need to get that T100 LT out of the game. I hate T100s. They're cringe. Nobody wants to deal with them. I need to get that player gone. Unfortunately, the Rhino ends up spotting me in the crossing. I don't want that T100 LT to know that I'm going to push him. So at this point, I'm just going to wait a little bit. Grill gets nuked, lit on fire. Not good. All right, well, let's push now. Got the T100 right in front of me. And boom, 460 damage into that player. Nice little love tap for another 80, and a nice HE into his rear. That takes 679 off. Now I'm up to 2,200 damage, or 2,300 damage with the ram, actually. I mean, that's crazy. I went from 1,000 damage to 2,300 just like that. We got the Rhino over poking. Oh, well, I guess I'm going to shoot the Super Conk instead. Bro just drove right out, so I'll take it. We're up to 2,700 damage now. The Hori is tracked, so I don't know how our Hori hasn't bled a single hit point yet, but I mean, it's just such a good example of the Hori getting away with some of the goofiest plays. All right, well, I've got my second shell almost loaded. I'm going to aim it on the Super Conk lower plate. There you go. Nice 392. That places me over 3,000 damage. So at this point, we got an E3, and they still have a lot of tanks left. If you actually look at the enemy lineup, they still have 5 vehicles, but some of them are very low, right? The Rhino's very low. 200 LT's a one-shot, so some of these tanks are not really threats. I want to get this T100 out of the game, so I get a nice snap into his vehicle. I load in a high explosive on this Rhino, aiming, of course, gotta love my accuracy. Unfortunately, that shell ends up missing, but it's fine. We're up to 3,200. We can skip ahead a little bit here, see if we can get some damage into the enemy grill and the E3, and we're gonna do that right now. Here we go, driving around the corner, gonna aim it on the grill. I shoot it into the wall. That's on me. I didn't realize that the wall was gonna eat my shot, although doesn't really matter, because at this point, there's not much left to do. I'm going to push the Rhino. I do jump on him and I get the kill. And just like that, we get a victory. Very easy game. All these games are easy. And you can see why. The Rhino's just such a chill tank. I don't think it's as overpowered as the Kron, but I do think it's still an incredibly easy vehicle to do well in, and you can see why. Just absolute brain dead gameplay. But either way, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the Rhinoceronte. Do you think it's balanced? Do you think it's overpowered? I can tell you for the 9 games I've played in it, averaging 3,600 with almost an 80% win rate, that it's pretty dumb. But you can let me know your personal feelings, comments, and opinions. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video. See you all in the next one. Bye-bye.